Hi, my name is Nicholas Matus, and this is my week six discussion board. With that being said, I had the idea of more so a music theme topic of like related law, which is copyright, which is copyright and how it deals with our now and age like database and how there's so much things going on that not everybody's able to track it. But with that being said, here's our first slide. The federal government and copyright laws. As you can see, the problem is that copyright laws haven't kept up with streaming technology, and with publishers and different types of artists that publish their music to different platforms like Spotify don't gain as much traction and feedback from listeners because of the fact that other people could post their music and quote unquote leak it as somebody that didn't make the song sends it into a different platform so people could listen to it even though the artist didn't want to officially release it yet. But this is a issue because copyright is governed nationally, but overall it's not something that will ultimately hurt somebody in a way as like harming them physically, but in a mental space this could harm them. But in page 46 of the book, it goes over how the Constitution divides power between states and federal government, and with copyright, it clearly falls under national authority. So that means that Congress is given the power to regulate copyrights, and that means that any changes must come from a federal level. So with that being said, a possible solution to this is a act that I would say would be called like the Digital Music Fair Pay Act, as the law begins as a bill and it could enter into the Chamber of Congress, and its name would be Digital Music Fair Pay Act, and it would define fair royalties for streaming plays on different platforms for the official publisher, not with these minor, not verified publishers. And even in page 309, the book describes on how a bill is introduced and how it's assigned to a committee and how it must be able to pass through houses or both houses, and a member of Congress, like a representative from California, might introduce this bill. So somebody, say, artist like Drake has a problem with his music, he's probably the one to be most likely to introduce this bill. So with this situation, it would be handled by the House Senate and the House of Representatives, as the more so I think the House of Representatives, because they're more influential and have more pull and popular demand, and the Senate may take the more broader long term view and make this a longer process. But the both of these chambers have to agree on the final act on how this bill would come along. And as being said on page 312, the book discusses the structure and differences between the House and the Senate. While the House may be more responsive to musicians and public pressure, the Senate would take a more slow approach and might focus on industry impacts and more so like the bigger picture from tech companies like Spotify, and not really wanting to harm the overall structure of it, but being more careful as so if they were to help this one artist, how would it impact all the other ones? Because if it helps this one artist, then all the other artists would also eventually want to be given the fair right and want to get treated the same. But with the Congress and the committees and whoever leads it, it's how it's overall separated, and I'll even be talking about presidential power on this slide. So, when it comes to the idea of who has the power to shape the bill would likely go to the House of Judicial Committee, and leaders would decide what gets more attention and more overview on floor time, as in like more info and more talk on how it would come along. So public opinions also play a huge role in this, because this is a very big popular idea, as in music is very wide and well known. And in page 344, the Congress agrees on the law, and the president's signature is required. It also states how the check ensures balanced power, but also slow change. So even if it passes by Congress, the president must sign it, and the president could even veto this if he believes it would hurt the economy and the public view. But Congress can even override a veto with a 2/3 vote. So, with the info on presidential power, we know that the president could issue a signing statement, or even could support this idea of the copyright, and could shape more of an idea and more push towards the idea that we're trying to get at. So public pressure would also come along with the president, as people who follow the president would definitely more so agree with the idea if the president believes in it. So public pressure would play a big role in pushing the president to act. And in page 354, it talks about how the president uses tools like signing statements to shape out laws and carry it out. And even if the president supports artists' rights, they might push their party in Congress, and this could even move the bill faster and be able to get to the idea that we're trying to get at. So why this idea all matters is because bringing copyright to a better law into our now age of 2025 is that copyright is very outdated, and with so many publishers, we don't really know whose work is truly the creator. So this obviously hurts the real creators, and the federal government action is very necessary and constitutional. So with the legislative process, it's very complex, but being able to reshape this idea is very possible. So even though copyright touches all over everything like music, even businesses, they're still able to be fit for change. And even in the book, it shows that separation of powers and even public pressure and design of work is all a process of shaping a solution. So with that being said, thank you for listening to my presentation.